Last week we talked about all of the reading rules for W. We talked about how if there is a W-O-R, it's going to sound like and it'll say were. If there's a W-A-R, it's going to sound like war. And if there is a W-A, it's going to sound like wah. So we have were, war, and wah. So I'll go over these extra practice words with you now. Okay, so number 1 is a compound word. It is clap-worthy. Clap-worthy. Number 2. Oh, this one's a doozy because of this SH and then this S. Worshist. Worshist. It's kind of, that one's even almost harder than Worcester sauce. Worcester sauce. Worshist. Number 3, bless-a-warm. Bless-a-warm. Number 4, Chipworth. Chipworth. Number 5, Wormindip. Wormindip. Be careful when you say this one that an R doesn't slip in right after this D. So it's not Wormindrip, it's Wormindip. Number 6, Sepworst. Sepworst. 7, Werfindim. Werfindim. Number 8, ringworm. Oh, no, it's not. I have ringworm on my mind. It was in a story in the last lesson. Rigworm. Rigworm. And number 9, pistawash. Pistawash. And 10 is wombistamp. Wombistamp. Okay, I think I have a question here. Welcome, everyone. Okay, the question is, since we have covered nonsense words for the past 8 months, why are we covering nonsense words again? So that is because it is a way for you to not rely on visual memory and rely solely on the reading words. On the reading rules. So we're going to do nonsense words Mondays, real words Wednesdays. The nonsense words are to keep your reading rules current and in focus so that you don't rely on, you know what, I think that word is colloquial, or I think that word is feminine, or whatever the word is. So you're not thinking that you know what that word already is. You have no option but to apply the reading rules, which keeps those current and top of mind and always fresh in your mind so that you know what those reading rules are. Yeah, that is why. Okay, so let's hop over to today's lesson. We have, today is our last lesson where I teach the rules one at a time. And today we are covering a combination of all of the vowel R and vowel and W rules. So the vowel R, okay, so we have AR that says R, ER that says and IR says and UR says and OR says or, unless it's at the end of a longer word, then it says also. So here again we have, as a refresher, AR says R as in art. ER, IR, and UR all say as in bird. And OR says or at the beginning and middle of words and at the end of short words, but it can also say at the end of longer words like investigator, alligator. Usually it will say or. And then we just did our W review. So those are going to be what we're going to be working on today. So, but first let's do our phonemic awareness warm-up. Here we are on our last one. Well, I'll continue on for the next times, but you're not going to have pictures. It'll just be just listening to what I'm saying. Okay, so how many sounds in zebra? Put it in the chat. How many sounds in zebra? Okay, yes, in zebra we have z, e, b, r, a. Good. 5 sounds in zebra. That was excellent. Z, e, b, r, a. Nice work, you guys. Excellent. Okay, now this next one's a little tricky. How many sounds in family? I want you to hear that subtle sound in the middle. Don't think about the spelling, just think about the sounds. Family. Go ahead and count. This one's harder. Okay, in family we have a, I. That I is the hard one to hear. L, E. I'll do that one more time. A, I, L, E. 6 sounds in family. Usually we just say family when we're speaking fast. We just say my family, right? But when you read it and when you say it slowly, you'll hear that I in the middle. My family. Family. There's an I right there in the middle. That's why that one was a hard one. Okay, how many sounds in statue? Statue. Everybody's really taking your time on this one. It's making sure you hear all those sounds. Might not be what you think. There's a lot more letters than sounds. I'm going to actually write down the sounds here in statue. In statue, we have the sound for s, t, a, and then the sound ch, and then the sound oo. Statue. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sounds. S, t, a, ch, oo. It is spelled T. You can say chew in words, and UE says oo. So statue is how you spell it, but this is how the sounds come out. Statue. 5 sounds. Try liberty. How many sounds in liberty? Okay. Good, good. You're either right there or you're so close. So in liberty, we have, hang on, let me fix this. L, I, B, R, T, E. 6 sounds. L, I, B, R, T, E. Liberty has 6 sounds. You guys are getting better at those. Well done. All right, so let's come down to our review. To review all of our vowel R and W rules. And I'll just go over them as we come to them and refresh your memory. So my number 1, I'm going to put a brev over this E. Let me make this bigger. Okay, I'm going to put a brev over the E because the next 2 letters are consonants. That says eh. I is in the middle syllable, say I. ARs say R, and Y at the end usually says E. So these sounds are B, E, S, T, I, P, R, D, E. Best party. Best party. It sounds like party, and that's because T's can sometimes sound like a D. They're kind of a stop sound, especially when you pronounce them quickly. It sounds like party, but we don't spell it with a D, we spell it with a T. And if we were enunciating clearly, it would say party. Okay, go ahead and try yours. So here we have a P, E. We know this E is going to say E because the next two letters are consonants. I's in the middle say I. There's our R. Y at the end usually says this long E sound, the long E sound, E. So we have P, E, S, T, I, T, R, D, E. Pestitardy. Pestitardy. How did you do on that one? Put in the chat how you did on that one. Pestitardy, just so I know. Excellent. Nice, Coco. Okay, all right. So, it was hard. Pestitardy. Yeah, that one is not easy. That's okay. I know that one was hard. Oh, these are all kind of hard today. But I want you to give yourself some grace. This is the last lesson for teaching these rules, and this is the hardest month of rules. So this is the hardest lesson and the hardest month. So give yourself a little bit of a grace today. Okay, so my number 2, we have a short E that says because the next two letters are consonants. This I says I because I is in the middle, say I. UR says Y at the end says E most of the time. So I'm going to go say my sounds, and then I'm going to say it one sound at a time. S, E, S, I, M, P, D, E. We have se, sef, sephi, sephim, sephimp, sephimper, sephimperd. And before I put this last sound on, I want to talk to you a little bit about why we do this, one sound at a time. If you do that technique of blending one sound at a time and then going all the way back to the beginning, repeating what you just said, and then adding one more sound, then going all the way back to the beginning, repeating everything that you just said, and adding just one more sound, then it takes a 8, 9, 10 sound word and makes it 2. Because you're going to start with just 2 chunks of sound, the beginning and the second sound. Then you're going to put those sounds together, and that becomes one chunk of sound now. And you're just adding one more. Then you're going to put those together, and you just have to remember that sound, what that sounded like, and then add one more. So now you're combining 2 chunks of sound when you do it this way. And it's a lot easier to remember 2 chunks of sound than 8, 9, or 10. So that's what I'm doing here. So I have already said sephimperd. Now I have to remember sephimperd and then add the next sound, E. Sephimperdy. Sephimperdy. So go ahead and try that on yours and take your time. Do that one sound at a time trick if you want. I'm going to give you plenty of time on this one. Nice. I think you're getting it. I think you're getting it. So I really want you to concentrate on the sound of this I versus the sound of this eh. Make sure that they are different sounds. The I is narrow, the eh is a little wider. I, eh. Two different sounds in this word, but they sound very similar. Be aware of those sounds. So we have an I, an eh, an and an E here are our vowel sounds. When we combine the sounds, we have ti, tip, tippe, tippen, tippens, tippenst, tippenster, tippenstered, tippensturdy, tippensturdy. Susan, you're smiling. Is that good news? Yay! Tippensturdy. Nice. Yay, Adama! Woohoo! Okay. Oh my goodness, that was so good if you got that. That was a hard one. Okay, let's keep going. So I have a W-O-R here, and I know that says that O-R is going to say after a W. Here I have it. I in the middle says I and another I because there's not another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. Oh my goodness, can you hear that? This microphone is so sensitive. There's a restroom behind my office, and before you probably couldn't hear that, but now with this crazy aggressive mic you can hear everything. Okay, so here I have a w, s, I, n, d, I, m. Wor, worf, worfe, worfin, worfind, worfinde, worfindim, worfindim, worfindim. Okay, go ahead and try yours. Here's a W-O-R. Good. Okay, so the hard part is you're going to probably naturally want to say war because it looks like war, but you've learned that W-O-R says wor, like worm, word, world, worth. Okay, so here we have a w, t, a, n, d, m. You might recognize the word drum there. That'll make that last part easy. So we have wor, wort. Make sure it's not worth. That might be tempting to say because it sounds familiar and it starts the same, but it's not worth, it's just wort. Werta, wertun, wertund, wertundr, wertundra, wertundrum, wertundrum. Now let me tell you, I had to really focus on that one. I could not think about anything else except for getting every sound correct and then going back and saying every sound correct again. That one was hard for me. Was it hard for anybody else? Yeah. Did you get it okay though? Wertundrum. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, that one was hard for me too. Don't worry. Wertundrum. That one made me nervous a little bit. Okay, let's try number 4. But we have the rules. We just have to tell our tongue what to do. Okay, so here I have a W-A-R, and I know that W-A-R says war. That A-R is going to say or when it comes right after A-W. Here's a digraph. Here's a short I because the next two letters are consonants. Here's a short I because the next two letters are consonants. Here is a Y at the end of a multisyllable word, usually says E. So, I already know that I'm going to want to say the I sound at the end because when I glance at it, it kind of looks like the word Shopify, which is a shopping platform. But I have to focus on the rules. This is why we do nonsense words, so we don't rely on visual memory. Okay, so we have w, or, sh, I, p, I, s, e. War, warsh, warship, worship, worshipeth, worshipeth, worshipethy, worshipethy. Nice. Good job. Oh, Talon, I love that smile. Yay. Okay, let's try yours. Number 4. You've got this, Kevin. Okay. I'm confident that you're gonna get this. I'm confident that you are. Okay, we have w, or. One second, let me plug in my computer. So W-A-R says war. Both of these eyes are going to say I. Y at the end says E. So you have w, or, p, I, I, s, E. War, warp, warpy, warp him, warpime, warpimif, warpimify. How'd you do? Warpimify. Put in the chat how you did so I can tell. Warpimify. Nice. Yay. Oh, I love the emoji, Brenda. Yay. Yay. Oh, excellent. Okay, good. Okay, does anybody want to try one of the extra practice ones right here with me before I let you go?